Greece needs to seize a last opportunity to reach a deal with its creditors, the head of the Eurogroup, Jeroen Dijsselbloem, has said. He was speaking after a meeting of European finance ministers that ended with no agreement on Greece's debt. Mr. Dijsselbloem called on Greece to submit credible proposals in the coming days. To help tackle the crisis, an emergency summit of leaders from Eurozone nations has been called for next Monday. Mr. Dijsselbloem highlighted that very little time remains as Greece's current bailout program runs out this month. It is still possible to find an agreement and extend the current program before the end of the month, but the ball is clearly in the Greek court to seize that last opportunity, Mr. Dijsselbloem said. The Greek finance minister, Yanis Varoufakis, said his nation had presented a comprehensive proposal and that disagreement only existed over spending equivalent to 0.5% of Greek GDP, which he says does not constitute a dangerous impasse. He highlighted that Greece has already made a gigantic adjustment over the last 5 years and rejected any measures that would jack up taxes and reduce benefits further. And he warned that negotiations were dangerously close to a state of mind that accepts an accident. Looming deadline. Greece has less than 2 weeks remaining to strike a deal with its creditors or face defaulting on an existing Euro 1.6 bn, pound 1.1 bn, loan repayment due to the IMF. The country has already rolled a €300 million payment into those due on June 30. If it fails to make the payment, it risks having to leave the Eurozone and possibly also the EU. But the European Commission, the IMF, and the European Central Bank, ECB, are unwilling to unlock bailout funds until Greece agrees to reforms. They want Greece to implement a series of economic changes in areas such as pensions, VAT and on the budget surplus before releasing Euro 7.2 bn of funds, which have been delayed since February. Pressure was also raised on Greece earlier on Thursday when the boss of the International Money Fund, IMF, Christine Lagarde, warned there was no period of grace for Greece over a debt repayment deadline. She said Greece would be in default on its loans from the IMF if it failed to make a Euro 1.6 bn, pound 1.1 bn, dollar 1.8 bn, payment on June 30. In another development, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras denied allegations that elderly Greeks were receiving lavish pensions. Writing in the German newspaper Der Tagesspiegel, he said, "The problem is not one of supposed generous pensions. The most significant disruption to the pension funds is due to dramatically lower revenues in recent years. These were caused by the sharp drop in contributions that resulted from soaring unemployment and the reduction in wages." Commitments. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said earlier she was still convinced that a Greek debt deal was possible. In her statement to the German parliament, Ms. Merkel said Germany was working hard to keep Greece in the euro, but said Athens had to follow through on reform commitments. "I'm still convinced, where there's a will, there's a way," she said. If those in charge in Greece can muster the will, an agreement with the three institutions is still possible.